Hi everyone, my name is Andrea. I'll be guiding you through a 60-minute yin yoga class. If you'd like, you can go ahead and grab some pillows to be able to use for props for this practice. If you don't have any traditional props at home, like bolsters and blocks, pillows work great. Even books work great too in lieu of a block. So when you're ready, we'll get started in child's pose. Starting at the back of your mat, big toes touch, knees go wide. Arms stretch forward towards the front of your mat. Let your forehead rest comfortably on the mat. For every pose that we take today, we'll be holding it for 5 minutes. So I'm going to keep track of the time during our practice. I'll let you know when we're at the halfway point. I'll also let you know when there's 30 seconds left in the shape. So that way you can know whether or not you maybe need to take a little break, maybe do less, maybe even push yourself a little bit more to go a little further, never with force, but with relaxation. So working into our first shape, child's pose. If you feel any resistance through the shoulders, any pain, let the elbows bend as much as you need to. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lengthen the spine. Hips sink towards the heels. Starting to get the head below the heart. Pressure the forehead, third eye against your mat. Nice rush of blood to your brain. You can let the eyes close. Just try to tune into the body. Noticing how the knees feel, the ankles, the hips, as gravity slowly opens them up. Discomfort, very normal when we're changing the body. If you feel any sort of pain, then do less. Discomfort, very normal in a yoga practice. We always want to work to avoid pain. Coming up to our halfway point. If you feel like your edges changed, maybe you start to scoot fingers closer to the top of your mat. Hips closer to your heels, not with force, but with relaxation. Notice your breathing in and out through your nose. The heart follows the lungs, so if you feel a little rise in your heart rate at any point in class, try to focus on deep inhales, slow exhales, and the heart rate will follow. Notice if you're holding any unnecessary tension through your jaw. Release the tension there. Maybe any tension through the neck, the face. Becoming aware of your body, and then consciously relaxing. Moving into the last 30 seconds of this shape. Moving slowly and mindfully with the yin approach, sliding hands back underneath your shoulders, pressing yourself up. Come all the way down onto your belly. Arms by your side, look towards the right, put your left ear on your mat. Palms face up, slight tuck of your chin. Just noticing how the body feels. Hips, knees, ankles, coming back to a neutral position, maybe some tingling sensation through the legs, the blood rushing back through normal circulation. Moving into a backward bend for our next shape, Sphinx pose. So you're going to bring your elbows underneath your shoulders, palms flat, a little bit more of an active posture here, staying active through the arms. So you don't want the chest to sink down. You want to press elbows down to keep chest lifted so you get a nice compression to your lower back. Legs can be straight, feet can be hip width distance, wider if you need, closer if that feels good as well. Keep the head lifted. If you do have some pillows stacked and you can let your forehead relax, go ahead and do that. You just don't want to let your head hang and put too much pressure on the neck. Closing your eyes. Keep lifting the chest up with your deep breaths. The unique aspect of the yin practice is that you can keep your eyes closed the majority of the time. You don't have to worry about balancing or focusing on a drishti point, looking in a mirror, not flowing, not moving too quickly from one pose to the next. So finding relaxation with the eyes closed, just trying to tune out some of the visual distractions. So the reason that in yin we hold postures for a much longer time than we do in other yoga practices is that in the stillness is where the body is going to be able to find relief. So staying in a pose, letting the fascia begin to open, joints, ligaments, parts of the body that are difficult to stretch. You're able to stretch them with some time and patience. Not only getting a nice compression to your lower back here, but with your breath, you can feel the resistance of your belly against your mat. Good for the internal organs there, digestive system. Coming up to our halfway point. If you feel like your edges changed, you can work to straighten the elbows to intensify the stretch in the lower back. A lot more active through the arms, so if that's too much, feel free to keep the elbows on your mat. Keep pressing through the elbows, staying active in the arms. Trying to lift out of the chest, out of shoulders. And notice any tension, especially in the face, the jaw, the neck. So you can notice it and release it for the last 30 seconds of this shape. Your arms are straight, gently bring elbows back to your mat. Slowly coming all the way down. Arms by your side. Look to the left this time, right here on your mat. Slight tuck of your chin, maybe the back of your right ear is flat. Breathe. Bring your chin forward, hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself up. You're going to bring your right knee to your right wrist. Sleeping Swan, also known as pigeon pose in other styles. So make sure that your hips are even. So what you don't want is to be rolling off to the side. So really try to square the hips off to the front of your mat first. If you need to, you can place a pillow or a rolled up blanket underneath the right hip in order to keep that hip alignment. We'll spend about the first minute in an upright position, and then we will fold forward for the Sleeping Swan. Maybe glance back, make sure your back leg is straight. Close your eyes. Notice what thoughts come up when we work into a deep hip opener here. A lot of emotion held into our hips. Try to release your jaw. There's energy between jaw and hips. So especially if you deal with jaw pain, TMJ, tightness, that can find a lot of relief with hip opening postures. Feel free to stay here or coming forward, stacking hands, placing the forehead on top of the hands. If that's too much, bringing the body all the way forward, you can bring your pillows, your props underneath you. Either placing the chin or the forehead, maybe even turning the head, and finding some relaxation here. If a posture ever becomes too overwhelming, you feel like you're clenching, like maybe you're holding your breath, or the mind is just overwhelming you, feel free to come out and then try to recommit again. It can be a lot just mentally knowing that you're going to be in a shape for multiple minutes at a time. So don't suffer. Come out, but see if you can get back in. We can't control what thoughts come in, but we can control what we do with them. So if you feel like they're overpowering you, do something about it. Either come out, take a break, do a little bit less, or breathe through and see if you can redirect the mind. Already halfway through this shape. And is so complementary to any yoga practice that you normally do, or really any sort of physical activity, because we're not just working flexibility of the muscles or the joints, but we're working for flexibility into connective tissue. One of my friends described it as the yoga you didn't know that you needed. Last 30 seconds of this shape. You folded forward, slowly begin to make your way back up. Moving mindfully, moving any props out of your way. We're going to keep this right knee bent and bring the left leg around for fire log. So what you want is to stack your left ankle over your right knee, your left knee over your right ankle. So if you feel like you're kind of looking like this where you can't quite get them met up, then really try to bring knees in closer together. You can even straighten this bottom leg if it's too much pressure on the knees, or you can bring a pillow in front of you and this top foot can come forward onto the pillow as well. But you want to try to keep the knees in line with the hips as much as possible for this posture. You can keep a little flexion in your feet, but not too much. For me, it feels like it just helps to keep it a little bit more stable. Keeping your chest lifted, you can let the hands gently rest on the knees. Try not to force anything down. It's just a little help of gravity. Hands can also stay alongside of you if you need help keeping the chest lifted, keeping your spine straight. Another deep hip opening, knee opening. So just notice what comes up. The mind starts to get away from you. Just start to notice what's going on around you. So notice the smells. Notice the sounds. Maybe the air moving. When you begin to work meditation into your yoga practice, that doesn't mean that everything else gets tuned out. You're very aware still of your surroundings. They're just not taking up too much space through the mind. You're not focusing too much on any one thing. But you're just aware of the collective energy around you. A good way to bring yourself back to the present moment is to first focus on your breath. In through your nose. Out through your nose. And finding again some focus, a little stillness, and allowing thoughts to come in, but also knowing that you have the power to let them go right back out. Halfway there. If you'd like a little bit different stretch, you can start to bring your hands in front of you, maybe even walking hands forward, eventually lying over the legs like we were doing in Sleeping Swan. Try not to let the head completely relax, to hold it up a little bit, a little help from the arms, the chest lifted. Unless you have some props in front of you, then you can always let the head relax onto those props as well. Last 30 seconds. If you folded forward, slowly start to press yourself back up. Using the hands, releasing that left leg. Bring your legs behind you. Go ahead, lie down back onto your belly. Looking over right shoulder, left ear to your mat. Just coming back to a neutral position, anatomical position for the body in between most postures, or at least every few postures. So let the blood flow redirect. Just noticing the body in a neutral position and how much better it already feels. Bringing your chin forward, hands on your shoulders, press yourself back up. Sleeping Swan, left side. So left knee to left wrist. Making sure your back leg is straight behind you. Again, make sure that the hips are in alignment. So using the hands to lift the chest up. Trying to keep the hips parallel to the front of your mat if you need to. Maybe a pillow or a rolled up blanket underneath that left hip. We'll stay lifted for the first minute. And then after that, the option to bow forward. And you're just noticing how this hip feels different from the right hip. Your yoga practice is a great opportunity to notice yourself. Notice how the body feels. And this comes from just a place of curiosity, a place of awareness, and never a place of judgment. When you are aware of the body and how it feels in asana, then you can figure out what you need to do to make your body feel better. Sometimes that means doing less in a shape, maybe coming out altogether. Maybe through your awareness you realize that you need to go a little bit further, find a new edge. But you'll only know what to do if you are aware, if you are noticing, if you are curious about your body. And if you're ready, you can slowly start to bow forward. Stacking palms, placing the forehead on the hands, letting the forehead relax. Or if you use props on the other side, bringing those pillows underneath you, either chin or forehead, or looking over the left shoulder, right ear on the pillows, getting a nice little twist through the neck as well. Letting the body completely surrender onto your props. Just at the halfway point. See if you can slow down your breathing, slow down your heart rate. Relax a little bit deeper into the last 30 seconds of this shape. If you folded forward, slowly press yourself back up. Moving slowly and mindfully with the yin approach. Swinging that right leg around. Fire log on the other side. So your left leg is going to stay bent. And then you're going to place your right ankle on top of your left knee. Right knee on top of left ankle. And a little flex through through the feet. Again, if you feel like maybe your ankle is really far down, your knees are really wide, really try to work those knees more close to the center line. You can straighten the bottom leg if you need to, so that right ankle would just stay above the knee. Or if you have some pillows, placing the pillows in front of you and bringing that right foot forward so that you still have that kind of narrow line with the knees to get that hip opening that we're looking for. Finding your position. And hands can be next to you to keep the chest lifted, spine straight. Hands can rest on the legs, maybe palms down or palms up. Not forcing, pressing down at all, but just enough to add a little weight for a little help from gravity. Closing the eyes, tuning in to how the body feels. The moment you realize that you are not in the present moment, you are in the present moment. So just like yoga asana is a practice, trying to stay in the present moment mindfully, consciously is also a practice. So if you notice your mind drifting to the past or to the future, it's like falling out of a posture. It's no big deal, but see if you can get back in. Bring yourself back to the present moment with breath and with awareness of everything around you. The present moment, the only place where time truly exists. The here and the now. Halfway there. If you'd like to intensify the stretch, bringing your hands forward, starting to fold over the legs, either just with hands or bringing any props, pillows in front of you and lying over those props as well. Excuse me. last 30 seconds. You folded forward, slowly press yourself back up. Using your hands to gently release the right leg. Lying down on the belly. Looking over your left shoulder now. Right ear to your mat. Slow inhale. Slow exhale. Bringing your chin forward, gently pressing yourself up. And bring the legs around for caterpillar pose. So this is where you will like to have some pillows, some props to be able to use in lieu of a bolster. So you're bringing the legs straight out in front of you. Legs together, feet can just gently fall open. Gonna place the pillow stacked up onto the legs. Inhaling, lifting the chest, exhaling, and folding over your props. So you can just have your forehead relaxed. If you'd like to work a little bit of a neck stretch, you can look over to one side at the halfway point, switch. I just really want to let the back side relax, stretching all of that fascia through the lower back, through the back of the legs. So your props are never meant to be something that you're trying to strive to reach. The props are like an extension of your body or an extension up from the floor. So it's something that is there to help you while your body is opening. So you should never be trying to reach your props. You can always add more if you need to. Halfway there. Last 30 seconds. On your next inhale, slowly rise back up. Moving your props off to the side, just lowering down onto your back. Arms by your side, palms face up. Slight tuck of your chin, back of your neck flat. And moving into a spine twist, pulling your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice hug in. Taking your right hand down to your outer left knee and guiding knees over to the right. If knees don't quite meet the floor, you can always stack those pillows underneath your knees. You can also put a pillow in between the knees if that's a lot of pressure there, maybe if you've got some scar tissue going on. You can keep your right hand on your right knee or work a little bit of opening through the shoulders, maybe elbows in cactus position. Head can stay neutral, or you can start to look over your left shoulder for a little more opening through your neck. Spine twisting, not only amazing for the health of your spine, but also for the internal organs. A nice little flush for the digestive system. Good for the gut, immunity boosting. Just at the halfway point. In every yoga shape that you enter, try to find a moment where you're not waiting for the posture to be over. Try to find contentment. happy with the success you have today. And even if it's only for a moment that you're not thinking about coming out, not thinking about the next posture or the next thing, it's just little glimpses of the present moment. Anytime you can become aware of it. Last 30 seconds. Your head is turned. Slowly bring your head back to neutral. Using the belly, pulling the knees into the chest. Stopping in the center. And then going on to the other side. So left hand on the outer part of your right knee. Guiding knees over to the left. Again, if you need to, placing some pillows underneath your knees or even in between the knees. You can keep the left hand on your knee or bring the arms out straight if you have the space, maybe arms bent, cactus arms. Head straight or looking over the right shoulder. A little more twist through the neck. Just noticing how twisting your spine in this direction feels different from the other. No judgment, just curiosity about the body. Coming up to the halfway point. if you can find a little more relaxation, a little bit more surrender for the last 30 seconds of the shape. Your head is turned. Slowly bring your head back to neutral. Pulling belly in, bringing knees back to center. Slowly lowering legs and arms down by your side. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Our final shape is going to be an inversion, very gentle inversion waterfall. I suggest if you do have a wall near you, or a table, or a couch, or a counter, to be able to just let your legs rest against that for a little extra relaxation. If you don't have that, that's okay. Legs can just go straight up in the air. Otherwise, try to find some place to be able to prop the legs up. Letting just the feet relax open. If you want to work some more opening through the shoulders, maybe elbows still bent at cactus arms, or even reaching for opposite elbows, or placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. So good for the circulation of the body. Lifting the legs up at least once a day. You can do this in bed when you wake up, or when you're about to go to sleep, maybe just propping the feet up against your headboard, or lying next to your bed and propping the legs up. It's amazing what a few minutes in a yoga asana will do for the health of your body, for the health of your mind. I notice some tingling through the legs, through the feet. Just blood flow redirecting, very normal. At the halfway point. You're grabbing elbows overhead, maybe reaching for opposite elbow on top. Feel a little different stretch through the shoulders. Moving into the last 30 seconds. Letting go of anything else that does not serve you. Leaving it all on your mat today. If you have your legs propped up, slowly begin to gently walk them down. Rolling onto one side, pressing yourself up, and then making your way into your final resting shape, final Shavasana. Legs and arms as wide as you can go with the space you have. Tuning into the body, trying to let go of any tension here. Closing your eyes, just noticing how good your body feels after moving through the shapes for the last 60 minutes. I'm going to leave you in an open Shavasana today. Stay as long as you can. The world will wait for you. When you do get up, bring this mindfulness that you've created here with you throughout the rest of your day. The light in me sees and acknowledges the light in you. Namaste.